All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar with David Prince. I'm Greta Wall, I'm your host today, and we have David Prince with us, the leader of T3 Live's Inner Circle virtual trading floor. It's an exciting day. Everyone who is with us, real quickly, here's a look at some disclosures for T3 Live. But everyone who's with us, we want to know where you're watching from. So let us know in the chat. Say hello. We want to hear from all of you. We have lots of people on so far. David, we're seeing people from, California, the 51st state, the West Coast, LA, New Jersey, Michigan, Toronto, Canada, Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. So lots, DC, so Cali, DFW, lots of people on. David, I'm in California. You're in Texas, and we are here together. All right, everyone. So our agenda today is we are going to introduce you to who David Prince is, what the Inner Circle virtual trading floor is, show you how they've been doing with some real trades, some looks at real trades, and we're going to get David's game plan for right now, what's coming up. Guys, earnings season is coming to a close, but it's not over yet. NVIDIA is still 2 weeks away. It's the biggest earnings report, I'd argue. Getting lots of economic data. We got the CPI this morning. But like the Fed chair said, they don't really care about the CPI. They're more about the PCE. So that's going to be important. And then, as we know, so far with the Trump administration, we get market moving news every day. So lots of excitement to come for the market. So quickly, let's go talk about who David Prince is and what the Inner Circle virtual trading floor is. So David himself, he was a New York City nightclub owner back in the 90s, joined the financial industry in the late 90s, a hedge fund manager. He's helped put SPACs on the map. His direct involvement with Jamba Juice and American Apparel, really heavy in the biotech space with Immunome, cannabis with Hydrofarm. And then in 2020, he partnered with us here at T3 to create the Inner Circle virtual trading floor after working in Scott Redler's room some and seeing that we needed a space for more large accounts, institutional investors, family offices, etc. So what is the Inner Circle virtual trading floor? It is an exclusive trading room and community for, like I just mentioned, hedge fund managers, family office heads, corporate executives, financial advisors, pro traders, and more. There are some requirements, of course, to join, and those are $100,000 minimum account size and at least 2 years of experience. We definitely don't need any beginners. You would not survive in the room there. David is the leader, of course, but he also has Kira Turner, actually Kira Barr now, I should have updated that, and then Rick March being his partners there in the room. So quickly, let's just take a look at some feedback from some Inner Circle members themselves. They've tweeted these comments, so these are out in the open. They are happy to sing David's praises in public. You can see Jay Kim here saying you definitely deserve it. Thank you for all your help and guide in trading the right way. I'm now up more than 100K since I joined your group. Candace saying you helped change my trading journey's trajectory and make it a career. You make me want to be better every day. Aria, sorry if I say your name wrong, saying Epic Trades 1 changed everything and I couldn't be more grateful. Thank you. And some comments from the chat itself. You can see, yes, I joined with $500,000 back in August, and now I sit at 1.3 million. That's 100%, over 100% account size gain there. Also, as my P&L explodes, thank you for all your hard work and insights. It's been a good few months in the Inner Circle. And now I want to play a quick video actually from a real Inner Circle member, because I think it just gives a little bit more to hear from someone who's actually in the room every day. So we're going to quickly hear from Naveed. Naveed is a trader in the Inner Circle. He's a former doctor and now full-time trader because of his work with David Prince. So let's hear what Naveed has to say.
Like most of the chat members that join Inner Circle, he knows about their history. He knows about what their account size is. As a sub, it's, I don't know how he does it, because, I've been in customer service myself too, and it's hard to remember all those details, but he's able to do that. And I don't find that anywhere else. Like, I've joined Zenger's room, I've joined Doug Cass, I've followed many other people, I've been in the chats. Nobody pays that personal detail or attention to detail the amount that he does.
All right, so you can just hear quick there. David is just different than other trading rooms out there. So let's take a look at what's recently been happening inside of the Inner Circle. All right, David, so there's the spiel on the room, but let's look at some of the trades. The themes, what we're going to be focusing on today is the themes that Inner Circle themselves have been trading. We're going to talk about David's game plan from here and really show you why you need David's guidance moving forward for yourself. All right, so let's start with this morning. We're going to just get right into this morning. You took home Tesla long overnight last night. And it went against you quite a bit this morning. We got down to the 320 area after you got in long around 326 last night. And then that news right there came out that Benchmark initiated Tesla as a buy, and they had a $475 price target. And that paid off nicely for you on your long. You've been very vocal throughout the week, especially this week, sitting up this last night, saying there are times to invest and others to trade. After 2 years of nonstop gains, there's less value up here. So I wear this cap till it comes. And that's your trader cap, not your investor cap. I think Tesla's a really good example of that. You're not buying, you don't like Tesla fundamentally here.
No,
but you're
great
trading
story, but
about that.
can't praise it from a fundamental level presently.
Right. So talk about, the importance and how you guide your traders and knowing when the time is to wear your trader cap and less of your investor cap.
So I always say measure the climate. Like, where are we in the context of the market, the bull market? How far have we come? What's the valuation of the market? What are the stocks we're buying? Have they priced in so much there's nothing left? And really understand, is it a time to invest for the next 2 years? Or is it a time to maybe rent stocks at critical areas and create alpha and amazing gains, quite frankly, when there is volatility? So after 2 years of nonstop gains and a lot of investing by us, where we've held stocks for months at a time, I said in the beginning of 25, I said, it's not time to invest. Will we hold stocks for a month at a time? But that's not really investing. Sure. Will we see a lot of volatility? Absolutely. Does volatility create moves in stocks like NVIDIA that you don't have to buy at 130 or 140? You can wait till everyone says it's going out of business again and buy it at 113 like we did, and then be selling it back to the market at 130? Sure, there's going to be a lot of that this year. And it's understanding that, honestly, I don't care how great NVIDIA is. It's gone straight up forever. It has a lot relying on it. There are a lot of heightened expectations. And we're probably at the tail end of a bull market. Doesn't mean we can't go another 6 months. So we are really opportunists who are utilizing volatility to buy quality names or indices when it's time. But we're renters of stocks in the volatility. We are not setting up long-term portfolios here. Occasionally, there will be something. There's dislocation at any given moment where you can find a long-term investment. But on the whole, stocks have done nothing but go straight up. So we are utilizing volatility and kind of going underneath the hood to find the best names when they do correct, to give us viable entries for, I would say, our bread and butter has been 2 to 4 week trades, rather than hoping that the Qs are going to go to 700 by the end of the year, because I really doubt they are. So the way to create alpha is to be a trader in this environment. I mean, literally one of the biggest companies in the world just went down to 113, and then in a straight line bounced the equivalent of like 18%, right? In a straight line like that. So if there is that opportunity, that's how you create alpha, not by praying that after NVIDIA bounces at 130, it's going to 150. And that's kind of our MO for the year. I think with the president, I think with inflation, frankly, especially today's news, being sticky, we have to get used to volatility. We've had almost no volatility for years. So we are more active traders than we've been in a couple of years.
Good stuff. All right. And another look at an active trade that happened in the Inner Circle today. You nailed the levels on Upstart this morning after earnings yesterday. The stock was hitting fresh 52-week highs this morning, and you told the room, I'll be a buyer on a pullback in the 84 to 85 area. And I mean, you can see it right there, buying right at 85, bottomed right here at 84. And you can see there in the chat, put in limit orders on Upstart between 84 and 85 on your comment. Incredible level. Yeah, go ahead.
So like Upstart, right? I'm not a schmuck. The stock has gone straight up from 20. So if anyone thinks they're buying this valuable entity that is trading at some cheap valuation after running up, over 300%, no, most people know that. But were numbers great? Have they turned around? Yes. And is there a way to make money off of it? Yes. Now, would I buy with like serious capital upstart after a 25% move today? No. But that doesn't mean we can't create alpha. So we buy the stock. We made 4 or 5 points. I'm still long, but I trimmed some. And we also bought some calls that went up like 50% as well. So it's kind of like thinking a little outside of the box and taking advantage of current volatility and where we can make money on compounding that money over and over, rather than just buying upstart and praying that's going 120. Stock's done pretty well for a while now.
Yeah. I would do want to quickly take a look at some of these comments that we're getting in the chat. Dominic saying he just made $5 on the after hours hood trade, and that he learned how to do this from David. Dominic being a member.
Well, I kind of called it out
on
on
the
the chat,
circle.
but yes, that's awesome.
Yeah. So David called it out, but Dominic learned how to manage the trades and stuff from David.
Can I talk about that one?
The guidance. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Because I'm not promotional, but you brought it up. So one thing we're good at, where I think we're different, it's way beyond the charts. It's actually, reading earnings and really looking at estimates where the stocks are pre the print. I looked at that print on Hood. I don't care how high it's gone into the print. Wasn't excited to own it, but I looked at that print. I said, these are ungodly numbers. Like, this company is doing so phenomenally well. It is not pulling back too much. If it does, you need to own it. And it went to 58.59. A bunch of the chat bought it. And by the way, I want to make it clear, it also bounced to 62. I said, guys, nothing's free. You want to be selling a lot of it. But I think we really do kind of take some of the information in and try and make some positive calls on how to deal. I don't suggest anyone who's not sophisticated to trade after hours, but we do a lot of very successful after hours trading by doing a little bit more than just reading the charts, buying high and praying someone sells higher. So that's how that hood trade came about.
Yeah. Rick says he did the same, listened to DP, took the trade, and banked. So those are, we're joined by new people, but also members of the room here.
Now, I didn't get to do that trade because I'm on with you, so I'd like a piece of theirs. I'm sorry.
We took his opportunity away. Dominic following up here saying David walked us through the entire trade A to Z. And that is really, especially during earnings season, you guys can be very active in the after hour session because you are real time reacting to those earnings, but you are there giving them the guidance, saying through the trade as you do it, or as, even if you don't take the trade, but someone else took the trade, you're there providing the guidance and the levels that you think are important, especially for that report, what number matters, etc. All right, let's talk about Palantir, what you guys did with Palantir yesterday. It's Palantir. Everyone has been saying you have to short it, you have to short it, you have to short it on valuation. You and I have talked. It's not that simple of a short. It's not an easy short just on valuation.
I prefer not to short because I don't think most people are capable of shorting and making money and should be very careful. I have no problem saying that, even though you're showing this straight.
Right. But you figured yesterday morning was the time at least to get a quick short in, and you got five points down on the stock here. What were the levels you were monitoring, and how do you figure out with a stock like Palantir, what does it take to figure out, everyone's saying it's so overvalued, but it just keeps going higher, 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 higher. What does it take to figure out when the right time is to short, to have that conviction?
I want to be clear. Probably the right thing to do is when a stock like this that is leading, that shows no signs of letting down, eventually pulls back, you want to buy, right? So like we kept waiting for 97, 98. It went to like 99 and then it ran. And I really told people who were trying to short, I said, don't. I don't care how overvalued it is. The market doesn't care what you think. It can just keep going. So you let them go. And then if they get to a point where you're like, this is so crazy, and normally I would have shorted 10 or 20% ago, then it starts to get interesting. I look for RSI. I look for how extended we are from the moving averages, like the 8-day. And then I do what's called a rental. And this is what I think people have to become accustomed to. When you can make 5 points on $100 stock and do that over and over in different entities all week, that's hundreds of percent at the end of the year. If you're managing millions of dollars, probably not. But for smaller accounts, it's a large percent. So my point is, you don't need to kind of when we did that Palantir, I said, guys, I don't care how low it goes. We just shorted the hottest stock on Wall Street. That frankly, I don't know when it is. Making $5 is a home run. Get the F out as far as I'm concerned. I don't care if it goes straight to 100. So part of it is waiting. And if you miss it, fine. Letting it go a little further than you'd think. It's knowing where the RSI should be based on the type of stock it is. So when Palantir was 75 and overbought, I said, guys, RSI wise, it's got plenty of room. Let it go. Let it go. Like it's got to get to the 80. So that was part of it. And then it was $10 or $15, whatever it was at the time, above the 80. I said, okay, we can rent it here. Could I be $1.50 early? Sure. But is there $4 or $5? Probably yes. And then finally, how do we feel about the market? Like if I'm super bullish the market, I'm not going to short Palantir, right? I'm just not, because it's so ingrained in what's going on in the market. So I have to have a feeling the market might pull back to make that short work. So I kind of put that whole picture together because I'm much more a conceptual trader than I am just reading lines and, you know, saying, oh, through this line, it's going to work. It's under this line, it's not. So I take that picture and I say, what are the odds? If the odds are strong, I take the trade.
And that's a perfect example for everyone with us of the kind of knowledge and the picture that David is providing for traders in the inner circle. You know, you yourself might, as a member, you know, you might have a member who's a very technical trader and really by the lines and by the chart, but you are able to be there to provide that extra context for a trade and all that extra information that someone might not be able to, you know, come up with on their own in their own head.
Guys who just go by the lines and guys who just go by valuation get killed. Especially, by the way, the lines guys are getting killed this year because we go up and we go back down. And then, oh, we go back up, right? So you have to have some macro feel or sense to where we are, where are yields, like what earnings are coming out, and then put the picture together and figure out is the risk reward worth it. But just chasing lines is tough in a market that keeps going like this. And certainly valuation on a lot of stocks doesn't make sense. So if you're just trading by that, you're blown up, right? You shorted yourself to death. So I do think putting a picture together gives you much higher odds of success.
All right. We don't have to go into detail for all of these individual trades, but just another example. You guys were short Meta pre-market talk about a stock that is just on a tear, 17 days up in a row, but you've got a short.
And 18, by the way. I think today's
today would be 18. You guys added alpha with the puts that are shown here that went from 780 to 1120. So just another, good read on the market and where the right spots are to go against, the current trend. You were feeling bearish the overall market last Friday, so you bought some Q puts that went from $1.90 to 380.
That's a good one to talk about.
I should explain see the comment there from Sam saying it was so sick, $1.80 to over 4. What a great trade with a plan and execution, thanks to the inner circle and DP. And I think that's important. You give that plan and how to execute in your morning call or when you're taking a trade. But talk about this one.
So I think this is exactly the market we're in. And I've been saying this since the end of December. We're in a market where, listen, when it gets extreme to the downside, there'll be buys. So earlier that week, we were buying QQQ, TQQ, NVIDIA, many points high, lower. And then all of a sudden, the Qs have gone from Sunday night, 508 to 530. That's where they've gone in 5 days. So listen, you can drink the Kool-Aid, but I'm not drinking it. This is a tough market. And I don't know if we go down today, Monday or Tuesday. But if you give me 3 days in puts, I really have a strong feeling we're going to backtrack. Now, do I want to sell all my longs? Do I want to sell TEM? Do I want to sell a firm? No, but I want to have some protection and maybe make some money on the offensive side because any minute we're going to pull back. So a way to kind of play both sides is just to be cognizant of the size of these ranges. And while we had some longs, buy some puts. And it worked out pretty well, right? We also have some 500 puts as like our insurance policy. So I think that's a lot of this year is being able to play both sides of the coin because they're going to be shorts and they're going to be longs. It's not just one big bull market and pray everything goes to the moon.
Yeah, and I think that's something you are really good at is playing both sides, even in the same stock within 24 hours or even within 2 hours. You're really good at flipping long and short when you see the signs and the signals telling you to. We talked earlier about what you did with Tesla this morning. But here's a look at what you were doing in Tesla last week. You didn't just nail the bottom in Tesla on the 6th. You also caught the top in Tesla on the morning of the 7th. You rode this trade from 363 all the way up to 380 and got out. And
out of fairness, I was out at 375. But I'm just saying.
375. All right. On the chart, is high is 380. But, I mean, like you say, you don't have to be perfect. Just got to be close. And you were close. And also, I think this was Friday?
Well,
Yeah, Friday. So our Lotto Friday of the week was also on
oh, that
Tesla,
was a good one.
just
I
to add
remember
some
that.
alpha to this trade in particular that you had held overnight. What did you want to add?
I was going to say this was an interesting call because after earnings, Tesla went higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was an unmitigated disaster. Now, there are going to be Tesla people on this thing that tell me about the TAM of robots and dancing flying taxis. I know all of that, and I do agree it's a powerful template they have for the future. But the actual earnings, like this last quarter, were a disaster. So I said, listen, narrative is what matters today. So the stock's going higher. Don't kid yourself. Like fundamentally right now, they have an issue. Doesn't mean that the robots don't come sooner and full self-driving comes and the Austin event comes. But for now, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid and buying Tesla just because he gave this crazy conference call where everything was going to be better and better. 2026 is going to be dancing fairies. 2027 is going to be the best year ever. I was like, that's why the stock's high, not because of fundamentals. So as it came down, rather than just get excited and be like, it's finally lower by, I basically said, I think fundamentals kind of suck right now. So we're renting this stock till it's investable again, which might be a lot lower. So that's why we got out of that trade. There are times we've bought Tesla like 6 months ago or 3-4 months ago at 222 and held it for several months as it went higher. That's not where Tesla is right now. So that is what I call a rental. It worked great for 24 hours, but clearly it wasn't a time for me to invest. We have to be cognizant. What's a rental? What's fundamentally doing well? Like today, I have a buddy. He's like, I know you got out, but I still have a bunch of calls for Tesla. Thank you. I mean, killed it. And the stock was 345. And I said, what are you doing with them still? He's like, I don't know. I have some. I was like, dude, like they're under duress. There's a lot of bad things happening. Doesn't mean I don't love Elon and I don't think it's a great company, but all the news flow is bad, including the fact that he's sleeping in the White House. At some point, it's just going to pull back 10 points out of the blue, right? I didn't know the news would come out today. Sure enough, he's like, how did you know? I said, it's not a matter of knowing. It's a matter of knowing the equity you own is under duress. And when you catch 10, 20 points, take it off. That's a rental versus an investment, which we have lots of those. And you don't have to rush out. Tesla hasn't, in my opinion, probably bottomed to the level where you can invest again. So our forte is establishing the difference.
Good stuff. All right. Let's talk about NVIDIA. Last week, you were buying when everyone else was bearish. You bought at 113 on Monday the 3rd and rode this all the way up to 135. I don't know. You might still have some of this.
I still have some.
I also figure you do. Yeah. Talk about it. I mean, this is a company that, you say like the fundamentals haven't changed. It's just the news flow around it. And then all the CapEx from all the Mag 7 earnings. Those are all good news for NVIDIA. You can see your tweet there, a little tongue-in-cheek saying, remember when everyone screamed it's over and going to 92 way back on Monday. And again, you were a buyer at 113. And you sent this out also saying NVIDIA 113 was special. It took some outside of the box thinking as the chart gave no indication that it was time. But as you've discussed, you looked at the X timeline, CNBC evaluation to give you some hints. I always encourage traders to use charts, but also develop the whole package. And I think this is something really important to discuss because this is what you guys do in the inner circle. You have Brick, who is giving you guys the charts and the levels and the fibs and all of the technicals. But your specialty, David, is developing that whole thought package. And so talk about how you do that for the room and how you share it with members when it comes to a trade like NVIDIA.
It's always to look at the individual idea. Has anything changed? That's like the first thing it always comes down to, because we've done so many of these ugly buys in NVIDIA. Microsoft increased CapEx. It was actually positive for NVIDIA. It goes down 20, we buy it, right? The yen explosion and it goes to 97 pre-market and then 91. Did anything change with NVIDIA? No, there was a silly article by The Information and the market was crashing. So we always first look, did anything change? And if it hasn't changed, you take that information with valuation, like is NVIDIA still at this point in time? Do we have any clue that they're slowing down? No. Will it slow down? Will it always grow at this rate? No. Law of large numbers. But we have no fundamental news that says it is not going to grow the way we think it will, right? Where estimates are. Obviously, they're coming down a bit, not estimates, but their growth, right? It can't always be 100% a year. And then you start to say, where does it get oversold? And if this company's trading at under 30 times and everyone's freaking the hell out. And in your note at the end of the year, you wrote, and guess what? Every time everyone decides NVIDIA is going out of business again, I wrote this on December 28th, we'll buy it again and we'll create alpha there. So that moment came due to DeepSeek, and we went out and bought it. So it's a combination of, are the RSIs oversold enough? Might as well have fun with this one. Where was it? I'm going to guess it was low 30s, but I don't know. Let's see. So RSI got to, at that moment in time, like mid 30s, which, by the way, in this great bull market, pretty low for NVIDIA, right? Not like during COVID, we'd see 20 or below, but still, that's deeply oversold. Next, do I say go all in? Like buy every penny you have, go take your kid's piggy bank? No, I say, listen, 113 I really like, but be prepared. We might buy more at 110. But is the valuation still very reasonable? Yes. Do you have any fundamental news that things change? No. Do you have news that created the volatility to be cognizant of, to say this may not be the bottom, because who knows how real DeepSeek is or not? Yes. Right? So trade with, I don't want to say caution, but trade sensibly, meaning assume it can go a bit lower. But we won't know the answer to the DeepSeek for a while. And you take that information and listen to everyone chatting on, Twitter, CNBC, the world's coming to an end. And usually when the world's coming to an end and nothing fundamentally has changed, and the stock comes off 30% in short order after some really positive like quarters, quarter after quarter, it's time to buy. And if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And we've been doing that for 2 years now. And there are people on Inner Circle that literally have made millions of dollars just doing that trade over and over. We did it during the yen. We did it during the Microsoft CapEx announcement, which I don't know if you remember, but it opened down 20 and that day was up. So I'll keep going back to it as long as it's working. If one day the fundamentals change, I'll change too.
Good. All right. Let's talk about TEM, Tempest AI. You've been focused on Tempest AI way before Nancy Pelosi was buying, and then the rest of the market
was
was
at my
focused on
house and
Tempest
she was
AI.
telling me about it. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So I remember you talking about this back in, I think it was December. You were starting to tell the Inner Circle. You said, I'm looking at it. It's not ready, but I'm, these are the levels I'm monitoring, and giving all of your thoughts. You were a buyer under 50 back on January 23rd. Do not get upset, David, about your dog.
Mute me while the horse people are coming in. 1 second. Just mute me for
everyone who's with us. I muted him, but David's dogs barking during a webinar are always good luck. So we like the dogs barking, but his wife has lots of horses. So sometimes they spook the dogs, but he'll come back. There he is.
Sorry. Okay. I think
okay. It's good luck. It's good luck, David. We like the dogs. We like the dogs. Someone commented earlier saying, let me find it, because it was a good comment about you and who you are. But now somebody said you have 5 dogs. Oh, DP has 5 dogs, so he's a caring guy. So very true. DP's dog might have,
like my
wife might have 5 dogs.
I don't have a choice.
All right, so TEM, Tempest AI. You were buying January 23rd under $50.
It was a big lockup that started the whole.
Right. And then, you traded that, and then you got down to a trailer on that in the beginning of February here last week. And then it rode that trailer for 29% more.
Yeah, walk people through. So we had a core position.
Somebody told, so these are just a look at Twitter. Caught this one mainly because of you. Just wanted to say thank you to David for an epic call on TEM, knew the story inside and out, and his guidance turned it into a huge winner. You were pounding the table long before anyone else, before Nancy. That is the fact. I remember you posting how you took the trade just after lockup expired. It went down, but you never wavered. I just didn't follow anything at that time, and I missed it. And that one up top, wasn't feeling too confident when it dropped to mid 30s, but you kept people in, even with it dropping to the mid 30s. So talk about Tempest and
so
how you've navigated it.
Okay, so I just looked at the story as a whole. There's certain times you have to look at numbers. Buddy, I'm talking to several people. I can't talk to you. Ask mom for help or ask the horse people for help. Okay. 1 second. What do you need, buddy? Mom's out there. Have mom. Don't worry about it. I'm busy. Okay. Well, the gate's closed, so they can't go anywhere. Okay. So TM, here's where we're at. You there? Uh-oh.
I'm here. Sorry, I had myself
Okay.
muted, but
Well,
yeah.
here's where we're at. So I look at this. There's certain, what am I focus, right? Focus kind of business attributes, I would say, for the last 20 years is figuring out where can we gain alpha that maybe we're a little bit ahead. We don't have to be like geniuses ahead of the world. We have to be a little bit ahead of everyone else. And it's always been conceptual stocks. Like, how will people respond to this when they learn about that story? I've just always had that forte, right? I did it. I don't want to get too far off, but I did it during COVID with EV, right? I bought this dumb company that I said will probably be out of business, but they're going to think it's the next Tesla. And I bought tens of thousands of shares of this silly company that you know of as Nikola BTIQ at 10. Then I rolled it into HYGS because I was with the theme, the next EV hot stock. So that's what I like. And then I found this one in Tempest that's run by a rock star, Eric, who's had 4 other monster success stories, including Groupon, who got involved in the business because he cares, like it's important to him because his wife had breast cancer, right? So you have like a founder-led company that's really gone through something where he's really interested. That's so topical and theme, right? AI healthcare. Then you put in people like Nancy Pelosi buying it, or Kathy Wood buying it, or more importantly, the fact that they have real revenue and just made this tremendous acquisition that of another company that's growing very quickly, involved in genetics. And you put that whole package together and realize that the CEO said they're going to be cash flow positive. So it's not just a story stock, ramping up revenue. And it's healthcare AI. And then during the Stargate announcement, the first thing they talk about is healthcare. There's only one stock you first think about. That's TEM. That's like, I like to say 2 and 2 equals 8. When you get that 2 and 2 equals 8, and I always thought, when that all comes to pass, the stock's going to go, and it went.
And just for everyone, that's the kind of information, the understanding of a name that you're not getting from a chart. You have to understand all of those things to really get the story of a stock and when it's going to be time. Let's talk about the AI trades that have obviously been a focus for the market this year and a focus for the inner circle as well. You and Rick, your partner, were buying Baba calls that went from $1.70 to $5 after Alibaba released their AI model, saying it surpassed DeepSeek. I remember you tweeting saying, Alibaba, I bit, pray for me. And it went well. That trade, of course, came, I think it's the same day, or it's a day after what you had nicknamed Turnaround Tuesday for NVIDIA after that DeepSeek sell-off that we had on Monday. You were long NVIDIA from 116 to 127 on the DeepSeek news. And this just is another, as you mentioned, and we already talked about NVIDIA, so we don't have to go into detail here, but knowing that the fundamentals of NVIDIA didn't change just because someone in China says they can do AI cheaper and they don't need.
You have to be logical, right? You have to think about these things like, can they really talk about all the chips they have in NVIDIA? Did this all start because of the amount of NVIDIA chips they built to create the beginning part? And if you just take a deep breath and think through these things logically, you can, without being a tech genius or particularly bright, be like, what are the odds that they did this for $6 million? Like, what are really the odds? So a lot of what we do is just taking logical thought and transferring it to stocks. Really, really helps. A lot of people don't do it. Sometimes it can be really useful.
Yeah, and I think a really important aspect of the room itself is people's ability to come to you with an idea and get your insight that on a trade, and whether something like this really means what the market is thinking it means, or if you just take a second, like you said, to breathe and be logical, might not be as dramatic as the market is thinking. And that's how you predict things like what we are calling a turnaround Tuesday here for NVIDIA after the dust kind of settles on something like DeepSeek. Let's talk about some of the Trump trades that were happening for the inner circle back in November. Man, November feels like a long time ago. But I mean, we've been, of course, active in Tesla all the time. But you were definitely in it during those crazy rallies and pullbacks we were seeing around the election.
So
We're
just
buying Tesla after hours on the 14th of November. And you can see 306 to 320 overnight. What do you want to say?
I want to say we already had it still from the last quarter they reported.
Right. It was just an ad.
Two. This was an addition to that.
I think, yeah. And yeah, see, and here we go. So you took home Tesla that weekend as well, post the 14th. You went home over the weekend and you didn't know this news was going to come out. Trump is reportedly planning to relax rules for self-driving cars. The headline there. But that, of course, Monday morning was some welcome news from NVIDIA. So we got a long there from 313 to 345 as well on Tesla. Back on December 20th, you were feeling this just shows how good your levels are. So you told them in the morning call on the Qs, I'll be a buyer around the 50-day. That's down at 506.74. And you can see you were buying right at 507. You probably can't see the numbers.
I don't even remember that trade.
507.
That's quite
507 out at 520. 13 points on an index trade.
I'm old. I don't remember that trade.
Okay. Yeah. So David just has these really spot on levels. And of course, anyone can find the 50-day on our chart. Of course, but those are the levels he's calling out for the room in his morning call every day and saying, this is where you need to be focused so that you're not having to look at the chart yourself and look at the 50 and the 21 and the 8-day and figure out where you need to be focused.
We're big planners.
Set alerts.
There's a lot, like our best trades, 90% of them are planned. If this happens, then we do this. Because a lot of people love to say, well, just follow price action. No, that's not how you make real money. You have to have a plan where if this price action happens, this is how I plan on executing. And I really will say that's something we emphasize is have a plan because that's how you can really take advantage of price action. Yes,
definitely. You are a big proponent of the if A, then B, then C part of trading and really good at laying out those levels every day for the inner circle in his morning call. All right. The Willow news for Google was a nice little 100% gain on some calls here. You took these calls on December 10th and you were out at 100% up by the 11th the next morning. So overnight hold on the calls. Can't remember if this was around earnings or not. I don't think so. It's just,
I think
sometimes your timing is just real nice. All right, let's keep going. Amazon, you took calls into Q3 earnings. So not the last earnings report, but their earnings report before. And those went from 350 to 650 after a good earnings report. But these were your thoughts on Amazon post earnings. You said, I would be shocked if the stock is not 5 to 15% higher in the weeks to come. You said that here, and we got a 6% gain here, a little bit of pullback, and then up 18% just a few weeks later. So your read just shows just your read on the market and where things can go is definitely on point. You were shorting MicroStrategy in November. I mean, look at that, 540 to 475. And on Twitter, people were definitely happy to sing your praises. You can see Naveed here saying, David came on the mic and said, I know this sounds crazy, but I anticipate that at some point today, the stock will have 100 to 150 point move toward the downside. That he's very confident about it. The rest is history. Jesse, David's guidance on this one can't be matched in his industry. Speaking in front of almost 400 people and telling them he's pretty sure the hottest stock in the market could come in 100 points today is something almost no one is capable of doing. Craig saying, even with the modest amount of size, we slayed on this trade. Talk about MicroStrategy and what it takes as yourself to be able to tell a room of 400 traders, I think the hottest stock is going to drop like this.
First thing it says is to scream at anyone who's not a big boy or girl who really can't afford to be down a few dollars not to do it. Because I really do believe shorting is a specific part of the business and shorting the hottest stock in the market is a specific part of the business. If you're not seasoned, wait till you get there. That's the first thing. Or know your risk via puts. Now let's get past that because everyone in the room is sophisticated or at least knowledgeable. So what it takes is really not being in a rush to do it and really waiting because we only get a few of these trades a year and it's looking for an extension that's so aggressive that you think there's an exhaustion moment, right? We've gotten to 85, 90 RSI. It is stretched like 100 points from its nearest moving average. The world has given up on being short the stock, and we look for those moments, and we, rather than force it and do those weekly, you don't get a lot of those, right? We do them every so often. Our other big one was SMCI. And MicroStrategy, I said, listen, it's not going to be as good as SMCI because we shorted SMCI between like 1,000, 1,100 and went to 800 the same day. But I said, this is similar. You're going to have the same outcome. And it was because it was that extended, because it was that many days in a row. It's because the RSI was that set up, and it's because that many shorts had given up. So you take that package together, and if you have experience like me and you shorted Tilray at 300, I had to pay a lot for the borrow, and said it really might close at 150 today. True story. Like, people followed me. I shorted Tilray at 300. I know cannabis really well. I finance a lot of companies. I said, it really could be flat today. Flat was 150. It went to 150. So it's just something I've done for a lot of years, but I respect shorting. I don't build shorts over weeks and try and be down. I used to do this, and it was painful, and be down 30% to make 20%. It's look for those specific moments where you really feel you have an edge, and that moment's where a dam's going to break. And after a lot of years of trial and error, I'm pretty good at it.
All right, so guys, we just saw how Inner Circle nailed TEM, Tempest AI, the AI trades, and the DeepSeek meltdown, Amazon's earnings, Tesla, and more. Let's take a quick look at some highlights from 2024. We don't have to go into detail on these, but just a few more trades to look at, and then we'll get into how people can join you in the Inner Circle. Quickly, Tesla's Q3 earnings. You yelled that this was a buy after you saw the margin numbers, saying, I don't understand why it's not much higher. This is a buy. And I mean, this trade exploded post earnings. You were right on it with the read on the earnings report. You see, Craig, most of our calls are up 300%. I haven't heard him this loud since an epic SMCI day last year. I heard him clearly, and so did most of the Inner Circle. Credit to you, my friend. You've been all over BKTX for quite some time. And then Tracy saying, shout out to Epic Trades for the spot on guidance after hours on Tesla earnings. His ability to cut through the noise and focus on the key numbers the market is likely to zero in on is one of his many strengths. And that, like we mentioned earlier, is the best part of playing earnings with David Prince, since he knows exactly what number the market is going to care about when it comes to a report. You even made money on Tesla after the We Robot event last year. You can see the tweet there saying, great plan and focus on Tesla this AMDP. I'm sure many wouldn't believe if we say Inner Circle made money long Tesla at the open, because if we remember, the We Robot event was a disappointment for the market, but David's levels were right. You guys saved me a terrible day. Never before in my trading journey would I have made those trades on Tesla open. The old me would not have taken my profits on Tesla yesterday or followed your trade today. So changing traders into people more like you, willing to take risks at the right time when the risk reward is worth it. You had lots of trades on the chip makers last year. You rode AMD from 155 to 169 back in late September. You see Candace here saying sensational couple of days. With David starting with the breakout of NVIDIA out of a tight range, AMD buys in the 154s, and then Lottos again, and quick commentary on Micron after the earnings report. I remember that Micron earnings report day. It was a dramatic after-hour session for the Inner Circle, but lots of really great quick buys as well. And these NVIDIA calls exploded back on October 18th, going from $2 to $3.75. I'm not sure exactly the news that was here, but just another look at how you guys have been active in NVIDIA since long before right now. The China trades last year, this is the August 5th. No, it's not. Sorry. These are the China trades in October. You've been all over the China trade, both coming and going. I participated on majority of it. It's been a thing of beauty. So you can say, you could look here. You had yen overnight from about $33 to over 34. On BABA back on October 1st, I remember quoting you saying, I don't know if you saw BABA, but it just doesn't stop going up. You were long from 106 to 111. Craig saying, feels so good to have evolved and be the one giving high fives versus missing these types of gifts. Epic Trades one got us focused on China, and the buy high and sell much higher thing worked. And then, all right, here we go. Remember the 8.5 collapse back on August 5th last year? Enrique had some good comments here. He said, we cleaned up on the Japan-induced mini crash on Monday, August 5th. One of my best days ever. And David was right as rain. that day he was buying the panic lows at 4 a.m. And you were on the mic and buying stock at 4 a.m. telling the room,
That day
guys,
made a lot of people's
panic.
year. That was a year maker.
Panic. But again, nothing has changed fundamentally with NVIDIA and the stocks that are plummeting. So you were buying NVIDIA, I think, at 97 that morning. It opened at 91. You bought more.
Full size at 91.
Scared. Yeah, you weren't scared when it opened.
Oh,
down.
I was freaking out. I'm not gonna pretend. I told them afterwards. I had to stay calm because I'm leading the troops, so to speak. I really have to walk people through what's going on and why I think we'll be okay. And then after, when we're selling a lot, 110, 120, 130, I said, by the way, I was a little nervous. That was a little crazy. But yes, overall, I really felt we were doing the right thing and we really had an edge. And if we kept our heads about us, it would be a successful investment, because that was really.
And I mean, it takes a lot to buy at 97 pre-market and have it down to 91, 6 points against you at the open. But as you can see, quick work there on you caught the turnaround well. All right, and again, this is a look at the chat from that day. Help me stay calm. Fantastic morning, green morning, calm, perfect guidance this AM. I had a great morning. A lot of people can't say they had a great morning on August 5th. And then, of course, Inner Circle's SMCI saga early last year. Got long stock on 119 after that early guide. Now we just don't get any numbers from SMCI, but this was, old SMCI. And you went long around 340, saying, I hope it hits 400 in the days ahead. Really, in your mind, though, you knew it was coming that day. And just like 30 minutes later, hour and a half later, hit your target at 400. And then you went the opposite way. Like we've discussed, you can play both sides of the stock, no problem. These puts that you bought, you cashed out huge the next day for a big gain. You're the man. I took the SMCI 990 puts all out of SMCI lottos, 75 cents to $10. I mean, talk about
that's low. Can I tell you? There are people that bought puts that went from $2 and change to like, we sold them too soon at like 70, 80. They went to like 150 because I may never have that sort of day again. That was insane.
Talk about a year maker. And then, of course, you were focused on the biotechs last year, one of your best calls, I think, ever. You started out with a 101 target on XBI at the beginning of the year. And hit your target, pretty spot on, and then just sold right off. So you went in big at $73 and then got to that target. You see Jake there saying, wow, Epic Trades 1 has absolutely killed the XBI trade. Immediate follow. All right, David, you talk about what you see from here. People can ask your questions in the chat, but just quickly give me your read on the overall market, and we'll keep going here with our.
I think the broad market's going to chop and eventually have a correction. I don't see a crash, and our president is presently getting some stuff done that I think people didn't dream would happen this soon. So there's for every negative, there's a positive, right? Because we keep seeing like some real strong data. Hostage gets released. He talks to both Zelensky and Putin in the same day. They talk about meeting. So every time the market looks weak, there's a positive that's very powerful to offset it. So what I've said is, listen, you can't go all in shorting the market. There'll be pockets of strength to buy. We just talked about Upstart earlier in the week. We bought a firm. It's been a big winner for us. And there'll be times to swing stocks, right? But also to hedge and to use the volatility. I think the market is not up 20% this year. I think the market might be down 10, 15% and then end up flat. So I think it's up to us to take advantage of the volatility, whether it be in the indices, whether it be in individual names. And that's how I think at the end of the year, an aggressive trader is up 30, 40, 50%, and your average Joe can still be up 15, 20% by using the volatility and not assuming that just buying the indices at highs are going to, pay you by the end of the year. It's really a market to constantly be aware of price action, how far things have moved, understand they might backtrack, understand like Reddit, right? Today I said, listen, I love Reddit, but it's pricing in so much because I heard Hedgeye went short. A buddy of mine who's really savvy dude who's well-known on the street, he said, I don't know why he went short. I said he went short because so much is built into Reddit that even if they have a great number, it might go down 30. It's up to us as traders to be cognizant of what's gone too far, where's there still upside, how to hold some of these wild winners like a Palantir, and be able to get on the opposite side and short when things get too crazy. I think that's how you win this year. It's not by buying like 5 hot stocks and praying that if you buy them at highs, the next guy is going to buy them high. It's really to understand a little bit more, like good traders right now are not buying Amazon if they're looking for short-term gains, right? Not buying Amazon and Google. Apple's doing okay, but there's obviously underperformance in Mag 7 for good reason. And by the way, I don't want to pretend I just noticed this. I wrote about this on December 28th. I said, if you're looking for gains in 2025, it ain't going to come by a Mag 7. So it's just thinking in advance. Where's that alpha come from? Is it coming from Reddit type stocks and Snowflake type stocks and hood type stocks? Absolutely. It's a new bull market. How far that can go, who knows? But it's understanding there's constant rotation and know where the puck's going. And that's how this year you win. And doing a lot of hedging when things get insane.
And I'll just add, by working with you in the inner circle could help. But of course, we do not guarantee any success for anyone. So here's how you can join. An application is normally required to join the inner circle. As I said earlier, there are requirements: $100,000 account size, minimum 2 years experience. But we are waiving that application for attendees of this event today. But here's what you get. You get live trading room access with stock and options ideas from David, but not just David. You get access to David Prince, Kira Barr, so sorry, Kira Barr now, and Rick March. Longer term ideas like trades in Amazon, Immunome, Micron. Short term plays in names like NVIDIA, Tesla, TEM. We just talked about this. Real time analysis of earnings. He's active in the after hour session during this season. Fed decisions, economic data, and more. Access to a community of some of the smartest traders you'll ever meet. It's not just David and Kira and Rick. It's also those members of the chat provide some really great ideas and idea flow throughout every single day, even for David himself. He's gotten, I know, lots of his best ideas.
Super bright people that can, run just some bright power on that chat, way beyond my intellectual capacity.
Mm-hmm. So this is what people have told us they love about the inner circle, that they focus on A+ ideas with the right risk reward profile, focus on smart money management. David's preventing traders from making mistakes. And the team, David and Rick and Kira, are really crystal clear about their ideas and their opinions. And of course, there's some fun happening in there. They laugh, they learn, we earn together. Rick, David's partner, he does some great impressions throughout the day to bring some levity to the room. They like to joke back and forth with each other, but of course, they are there to make money on a day-to-day basis. So who typically joins? It includes members from around the world: pro traders, hedge fund managers, family office heads, corporate executives, professional poker players, entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, doctors, attorneys, more. Of course, again, like I said, we have our share of laughs, but we are serious about the idea generation and making money. So if you're still learning the basics, Inner Circle is not for you. So what to know before you see our offer today? Again, not for beginners, not for those with sub $100,000 accounts or any cowboys looking to gamble. Like David and I have discussed, these are real trades with plans and an execution plan and thought behind them, not just gambling here on these trades. So if you do join with our offer today, we do ask that you be cool for a bit, observe for a few days, sit back, see how the room works, get some of the idea flow, figure out David, how you can use David before you start chatting. Focus, of course, on ideas when you are chatting. Avoid random chatter. Don't be asking questions that you could just Google. Again, not for beginners here. Be friendly. Of course, be friendly. And this, of course, keeps our ecosystem productive and efficient. Focus on idea flow on a day-to-day basis. Now, what it's all about, you can see this tweet from Hunter saying every day, every week, DP guides the inner circle on where to be, where not to be, and how to size right in big moments, saying he had a record week, record month, and he only needed 6 names to get that. And David doesn't just, tout when he's right. He will admit when he's wrong. He said, look at August last year, the tweet saying best traders on here show and talk about the losses and the wins. And then you can see David retweeting David there, talking about how he tried to short Apple and it didn't work. So he took a loss and he moved on. So you're not just getting ideas from David when you join the inner circle. We do have, like I've mentioned, a rock star team here. Let's take a look at what some of his team has done. Kira caught a 500% winner on these NBIS lotto calls back in January in not like in a few hours, not overnight, in 45 minutes. So Kira is, talk about a rock star. Kira is a rock star And she's so calm and cool and collected all the time. She'll give you her opinion when you ask for it, but she's very measured in her thoughts. I really love listening to Kira's thoughts on the market. Rick was buying Oracle calls after Trump's Stargate AI announcement. We got a nearly 600% gain on these back in January as well. I mean, look at the gap up on those calls the next day. That was a nice trade. And Rick and Kira's ARM calls, they went on these together in January, and those exploded also on that Trump AI, Stargate AI news as well. 770% winner. So you're not just getting, again, ideas from David, but also from Rick and Kira. Access to this offer is limited to just 25 people. We want to be the best, not the biggest. So we want the best of the best joining us here in the room, so we can get even better ideas from our new members. Pricing, Inner Circle is typically $6,000 per year, and we do not ever offer a discount here at T3. You can start today, though, with a $700 monthly subscription. That'll give you 30 days of ideas from the team, plus full access to the community. So if you start today for $700, you're also going to get a bonus. You get 1 year of Epic Trades newsletter. Those are David's top options ideas. It's a $1,500 bonus that's included today for free with your $700 purchase. With that, here's a look at a win for the Epic Trades newsletter. Sorry. These Netflix calls went from $7.85 to about $13.50 post earnings. You didn't buy these like headed into the earnings. You bought these the day after earnings and said you saw even further potential higher. So a great read on that report there. You can see a screenshot here from Vishal saying 2 home runs in a week thanks to the Epic Trades newsletter. This was last week. You guys had put some of the cues in the Epic Trades newsletter last week that worked out very nicely. With your Epic Trades subscription that you're going to get for free, you will get 2 recorded coaching sessions with Rick March and myself. With those, you'll learn how Rick finds the Fibonacci levels that he's providing every day in the Inner Circle for everyone on the chat. See in real time how he does his charts. He did them with me live, showed me how he marks them up and everything. It's really cool. And learn Rick's 4 pillars that he believes make a great trader. And then bonus time number 3, I have recruited David to do a live Q&A session with everyone who buys today next week. So just for buyers next week. So, 25 people max, because we have a 25 person max buyer, 25 limit. You will be able to ask David personally all of your questions that you want about the current market. So again, that's next Thursday, February 20th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. You will get a live Q&A session with David himself. So quickly, some more tweets about David. You can see Jay here saying he had his best daily realized gain in his lifetime. My account is up more than 20% already. Outstanding sentiments. DP provides excellent commentary of what he's doing and seeing in the market. I haven't come across a better trader that has a feel for stocks the way DP does. Thank you for your insights from afar. I had 0 sense of risk management, sizing, EQ, and reading price action. Epic Trades 1 changed everything, and I couldn't be more grateful. Thank you. Anthony, to answer your question, you can go to t3live.com/circle for that offer. I'll have that up on the screen in a little bit, but t3live.com/circle. Amber, you can go ahead and pop that in the chat there as well if people want to be able to see it. All right, there it is. So for $700, again, we're going to add it all up. The total. $700 would be your typical cost for 1 month of Inner Circle, but you're going to get that $14.97 1 year of Epic Trades with those coaching sessions with Rick thrown in as a bonus. And then that live Q&A session with David. And I got to say, that's probably the best part of this deal is that live Q&A session with David, because we don't give that away. I had to wrangle him to do it, but he agreed. So $700 today is a $21.97 value at t3live.com/circle. We already have 2 buyers of our offer today already. So we're down to just 23 spots. So they're going quick already, everyone. All right. So again, limited to 25 people. Once we hit 25 new members, this offer will turn itself off. So you want to get started. Why do you want to join now? Like I mentioned, we have 3 buyers. Mike is just updating me. 3 buyers. But mentioned earlier, and earnings season is not over. It feels like earnings season should be over, but it's not. NVIDIA earnings are still coming in 2 weeks, and that's the earnings report for the market. And then we have some key economic data coming up as well. The PCE is Friday, February 28th. The February jobs report is coming on March 8th. And those are going to be 2 big numbers for the Fed. I heard from the Fed chair today, and he said that's what they're looking at, the PCE and the jobs. And then the market moving news every single day with the Trump administration. We are down to 20 spots. We have 5 buyers. So far I want to thank Ming, Mark, Alan, Jeff, all for buying today. So again, we have 20 buyers, or 20, not 20 buyers, 20 spots left, down to 20 spots left so far with 5 buyers. So again, you can go to t3live.com/circle. David, I have some more videos to play from Naveed and Sandy, 2 members of the Inner Circle who've been in the room for a long time. Again, now we're down to 19 spots with 6 buyers. So it's going great. All right, so David, let's hear from Sandy. So for everyone who is with us live, this is a real member of the Inner Circle. He's in the room every single day. He's going to tell us why you should join.
Tell people what put in the room. Don't trade. Watch for a month. Learn the players. Know how each person does it. Like I used to put my trades in, some good, not so good. And now I'm like, I don't even want to put my trades in. I just want to watch what they do because they're so talented. And he taught me about how he uses the 2-minute chart and the move, what he does, but he doesn't play stops, which was the same as I was in the pit. It's all gut and feel, and he just has that feel. And so does Kira and Rick, but David is he has a business model that he does not defer from, no matter what. So I've been in other rooms, guys that are breakout traders, momentum traders, but when the market's not trending, those trades don't work.
Yep.
And so David actually, in my opinion, does his most unbelievable work in these choppy, sideways, markets that I would never do well in. So I know when to follow his cue. And yes, I will play the breakouts. I will play the momentum and stay with some stuff longer than he does on his own stuff. But it's a fast, to me, I'm old, I'm on Medicare. So it's like for my age to be learning all these new tricks and learning this game. And, all 3 of them, they trade with such confidence. You got to just listen. I tell the people, watch for a few weeks, watch for a month. It's not about making money right now. If you learn how to do it, you'll have this skill set for the rest of your life.
And I think that's a really great that's really great tip from Sandy for new members, is to sit back and watch and see how this room works and take the ideas, but you don't necessarily have to be chatting back and forth until you really get to learn how the room works. All right, we are down to 15 spots, 10 sales so far. I do want to thank Rick and Coulthard, Silvio, Naveed, and Sushant for buying. So we're down to 15 spots, 10 buyers so far. Let's go through some of the questions or some comments. You can see here, Eric saying DP is absolutely the best, not only a great trader, but legitimately cares about people's success. David, Rick, and Kira are the gold standard, both as traders and as very decent human beings. Down to 14 spots now, everyone. Thank you, Sebastian, for buying. DP is one of the best traders I've seen. Incredible feel for stocks. We're going to get to some questions in a second, but I just want to go through these comments. I never miss to follow DP's recommendations. Without Inner Circle, I'd be lost. This is from Rick March, your partner, saying, I tell chat members David never says anything by accident. Giving an example, quoting you, I think TEM has topped the day, stock broke $11 a minute. And Rick's right. I mean, if you listen, David doesn't see anything by accident. Vinod saying he plans to be in Inner Circle forever. Hope DP continues this for a long, long time. Suzanne, I've been in so many trading rooms and can truly say there's no one like David Prince. Andrew saying DP, Kira, and Rick are the best I've seen in 40 plus years of trading. They volunteer their personal time generously. They're also experienced members worth watching on the chat. If you want to learn swing trades, scalps, options, charts, capital and size management, no venue compares. Big hug, DP. Thank you for today. All right, I have a question for you that I think will be beneficial for people. We're down to 12 spots, everyone, 13 buyers so far. Let me thank our most recent buyers, Sebastian, Evan, and Wenxing. If I said that right. All right, David, what % of David's trades are shorts versus longs? What can they be expecting to get into in the Inner Circle when they start to see your idea flow?
I don't know the person, but I'm going to give him a direct answer because it's better off.
Yeah.
There's no such a thing. It's where are we in the market? So you talked to me about 22 and 21. There were a lot more as we were ending that crazy stage. Right now, if I had to guess, I don't know, 15%, maybe 20%. But the way we work is, I'm just being direct. It's not about making cute money. It's about making real money. So that's about sizing on trades when we really believe in something and doing less in between. So there are plenty of shorts I like. I'll be like, yeah, short that. Like I told people, Baba would pull back today when it was near 120. I said, it's probably time to pull back. A bunch of people shorted. I frankly didn't even short it. So for me, I want to short meaty trades and size up. And when the market turns and we really have topped and there's some downside, maybe it goes to 30%. Sometimes it could even be 50%. But in this environment where we keep going higher, I'd say 15, 20% max. But it's based on the environment. Any good trader knows it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. David is not scared to short, not scared to go long. It's really what the stock and the market is telling him is appropriate. Okay, we're down to 7 spots. I want to thank Melvin and Steve and Enrique for buying. So down to 7 spots left. Again, go to t3live.com/circle to take advantage of our special offer. Let's hear again from Naveed. We played a little short clip of what Naveed had to say about the inner circle. But again, Naveed is a former physician. Now he's a full-time trader. I think he still owns some practices, but he's not a practicing physician anymore. Full-time trader with David.
Enough to buy his practice. Now he trades full-time.
Right. So let's hear what he had to say about how the inner circle has changed him and why he loves it.
The morning call is the key. He goes through all the price targets. He does all the research. He knows which analyst has the most is the axe in that stock. So he would know that. Like I would not know that, hey, this Goldman Sachs guy is saying this. Like I don't know if that matters or not, but he has that feel based on his experience that this person matters.
Mm-hmm.
Like Katie Uberty matters, or like Dan Ives matters to this stock. So those are the kind of things that you learn as you listen to him. And sometime when he's off and when he's not doing things and you see some news, then you're able to make a decision based on that information you have from him.
Yeah,
and he does care. He knows people more. I think he knows most people by name and by like in person. Like that's another thing about him. Like most of the chat members that join Inner Circle, he knows about their history. He knows about what their account size is. As a sub, it's I don't know how he does it because I've been in customer service myself too, and it's hard to remember all those details, but he's able to do that. And I don't find that anywhere else. Like I've joined Zenger's room, I've joined Doug Cass, I've followed many other people, I've been in the chats. Nobody pays that personal detail or attention to detail the amount that he does, David does. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're down to 4 spots left. Hold on. There we go. t3live.com/circle if you want to get one of those last 4 spots. David, I know a lot of earnings just came out that you had said on Twitter into the room would tell you a lot about the market and what matters to the market right now. So for all of our 22, we're down to 3 spots, I think, 20 or 21. For our 21, 22 new buyers and members who are going to be in the room tomorrow morning, and what can they expect you to be focused on tomorrow, Thursday morning?
Pretty much taking a look at some of the earnings winners and losers. Hood is undeniably just insane. Keeps making highs in after hours. We just tapped 66. And where it makes sense to own it. It's just a blockbuster number, more than double net income estimates. And then it's taking a look at a stock like Reddit that clearly had an issue. It built in a lot. Stock's up, almost 200% in a straight line. Then on top of it, it seems like subs, there's some growth deceleration. So it's figuring out if it'll be buyable. I wouldn't short it because I don't think the numbers were really darn good. There's just a small issue. So where would it be buyable? And then looking at something like AppLovin that's just like it can't stop going up. Is there anything to do with it, or is it a stock to ignore? And in the meantime, getting ready for future earnings results over the coming days. and taking a look at some of our favorites like Snowflake, which we've been buyers of consistently, and looking forward to their earnings next week and figuring out where we want to add risk or subtract risk if it goes higher, or where our Affirm, Upstart type positions are. The morning call is basically a brief synopsis of, hey, this is what we focus on today. This is the coming week. This is kind of my feel for the next few weeks in terms of where I feel we are in the market. Added, with some charts on the indices and such. So, but we'll definitely take a look at tonight's big numbers, which were HubSpot, Hood, AppLovin, and of course, what do you call it? I just missed Reddit. So we'll be chatting about all of those and upgrades, downgrades, and where I think they might be going in the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm. And as we heard from Naveed, that morning call is the key to give you your plan for the day. David is very much a planner. He's very much, he looks at the levels, figures out where he likes, where he feels like a stock will do well, and he gives that all to you in the morning call.
So real traders, one thing they all know, right? You talk to any real trader, is they don't just chase price, right? No such a thing. Any guy who makes real money. And every morning it's about, here's our plan. And if this happens, you don't have to think about it. You can execute because it's part of the plan. Because the more people think, the more they screw it up. It's just that simple. So it's always about, here is the level. This is what I'm looking for. This is why we like it. And by the way, here's where I think it can go. Because how do you buy it? Or how do you have any real context of how much you should buy if you don't really know where it can go? Or have any thought process ahead of time? So I really believe it's so much about how to hold a winner if you know where you think it might be going, and have a target before just like, oh, I bought it, it's higher. I hope it keeps going higher because I own it. You have to have a plan, right? That's how you hold on to a winner. By the way, if the plan is incorrect and you're proven wrong, that's how you take a loss. The whole point is having a template ahead of time before you press enter. So that's what the morning call is about.
All right. And that morning call is at 8 a.m. Eastern time. If it's going to be at a different time, the room will, the Kira or
they always tape it, and it's always put up in the alerts.
Kira always posts a recording of it, which is nice for me, because when I'm going back in the day trying to look for content to post for David, I can always refer to the recording of the morning call to get his comments and find, as I've shown you, those spot on levels he calls out. That helps me find those later in the day as he takes those trades, and it just helps remind me. All right, again, guys, t3live.com/circle. We're basically sold out, but you can try t3live.com/circle to get the deal today. David, it's been a great success webinar. You remember, everyone who bought today, a week from tomorrow, next Thursday, February 20th, you will get a live Q&A session with David. I'll be there to help kind of field the questions, but I'm not giving my opinion. David will be giving all his thoughts on the market. Amber says she might let a couple extra people in. So again, you can go to t3live.com/circle. Again, Enrique, the morning call starts at 8 a.m. Eastern time. If you miss it or you want to refer to it again later, Kira always posts a recording link in the alerts section of the room. So you can refer to that whenever you need throughout the day. Again, everyone who's joined today, when you get on tomorrow, don't just flood the chat with a bunch of questions and comments. Sit back, listen, get a feel for the room, and get a feel for David and how he guides the room to find trades and ideas, so that you can win yourself, but you also aren't gumming it up with a bunch of new information. Because again, great sales today, but we don't want to flood the room tomorrow with a bunch of questions that you can look up on your own. So sit back, listen, and get a feel for the Inner Circle and David. Thank you for your time today, David.
Thank you to you and to everyone that joined.
And I hope everyone that joined has a great first few days in the Inner Circle. Yes, Rick, if you're a new member, you will get an email giving you all the details for your membership, how to join, etc., how to log in, all of that. If you have any questions, of course, you can always email Amber at t3live.com. Again, that's Amber at t3live.com. She is happy to help anyone who needs help getting into the room, etc. So again, for your $700 today, you get 1 month of Inner Circle that does auto renew, a year of the Epic Trades newsletter thrown in for free, which includes those bonus coaching sessions with Rick March that I did with him a few months ago. Really good stuff there. And then that live Q&A session with David himself next Thursday. So it's a $21.97 value. I'd argue more with that Q&A session, but just $700 today, 68% off. We've hit our 25 people, but Amber said she might let some more people in. So again, go to t3live.com/circle for that deal. David, have a great rest of your night. This is a great success.
Thank you for doing it very much. And thanks for joining, everyone.
Hope everyone has a great first day tomorrow in the room. All right, bye, David.